Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA. Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you are listening to High School Hoops with our hosts, Steve Collins and Jake Steger. Hey, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to High School Hoops, episode 21. But before we get talking about leaders versus captains, I'd like to give a big shout out to Dr. Dish, one of our sponsors for 2019. I'm proud to have them on board. It's a great, not only a great company, but a great product. Go over and check them out. Like I've said, we've got a couple of them. I know a lot of listeners have a bunch of these. Make sure you mention Coach Unplugged, and they'll give you $300 off your next purchase. So that seems like a great deal to me. Also, make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's the Netflix of coaching. Some of us are getting near the end of our season. Some of us are still have a ways to go. Some of us are thinking about next season. I can't imagine a better community, a better resource, one-on-one calls, office hours, videos, you name it. We got it. If we don't, we'll find it for you. Go over and check them out. 14-day free trial. All right, let's head off to the podcast and Jake and I talking about the difference between leaders and captains. All right, welcome. High School Hoops, episode 21. All right, Coach, go on this one. I love this one. I think this is the most overrated thing on any team ever, but go ahead.
You know, and my perspective has changed a lot since I've talked to you like mostly every month about, a bunch of different podcasts and constantly communicating with you is, is there a distinct difference between a leader and a captain, or what is your philosophy or theory behind, captains on a basketball team compared to a leader? Are they the same thing? Are they different? And there's a lot of new research on it. People are kind of talking about it through the wave of different coaches, how they handle that, what that really looks like.
Right.
Now in the game of basketball.
Yeah. So going to what I said before, I think captains looks good on your college application, but that's about the extent of it. And I've told you how I deal with captains. I see who goes to the center circle the first game, and there's my captains. That's how I deal with captains. Because I figure if you're a leader enough to go to that center circle in the first game, then you're my leader. And it's worked out for me for 20 plus years. It's like, but captains become something that they don't need to be. They become a popularity contest. They become why is Johnny not the captain? Yada, yada, yada. Okay. Leaders, like I've told you, leaders are worried not only about themselves, but about others. And then I can tell you within the first couple of weeks of my teams who are the leaders. They aren't necessarily the captains. Captains might be popular, captains might be that, but it's the ones that are going to get on the kids that aren't doing what they need to do. I'll tell you, the last couple of years we've had some issues with our teams being on time and doing the stuff that we expected. And we spent a good 9 months figuring out, okay, where are our leaders? How can we get them all on board? How can we come up with a set of rules that we'll all agree with? And knock on wood, we're, halfway through the season, we've had virtually zero issues with tardiness, not being ready to practice, communication, all that stuff. It's been super. But it was spelled out very obvious to the players, and they had input on what those expectations were. And that's what leaders do. It's like they want to win, and everybody wants to win the game, but it's making that next step up that leaders will really do. A leader of a business is no different than a leader of a basketball team.
Yeah, and like I think about what, like, I was a high school captain, and I think about what was that? What did I really do? It was, I had to do a glorified speech telling everybody why I should be captain.
Right.
And what was it? I think that it did give me a sense to push myself, but I think I was just as good as leader before I got the path. It was. I think a lot of times it's about, I like to have the conversation. It's like, I think having senior leadership is huge. You're being a senior, having those seniors, that idea of leadership. I think that's what made me such a strong leader, is that I was acting like a senior. Like, this is all I had left. This is my last year.
Right.
I think I don't even understand this whole, the idea of captain is just something that's been around for so long. It's
like the letter jacket. And the thing is, it's like the letter jacket. It's like, it's just been around, so let's keep doing it. It's also, I don't remember where I read this, but if, I'm a big believer. If you want to have leaders, you have to teach them how to lead.
Yeah, that was on my notes too. And I read books on leadership and so forth, and you got to teach them what you want from them and how to be leaders, and developing standards and giving them standards to a great book that Coach K wrote when he won the gold medal is called The Gold Standard, and he talks about all these standards that he develops within his team and that coexist, and they're all a part of that. I think it's a all in or everybody's in or everybody's out kind of mentality.
Right.
I think that if we expect only a couple people to be leaders, so that means you only expect a couple people to be 100% in what you're doing.
Right.
So my notes here I put in is that leaders are one that are going to buy into the system that you buy into the vision that you want to carry out. And honestly, don't you want every player in your program to carry out your vision?
Right. It's our standard. It's like we were talking about before the episode today. It's like, I'm harder on them after a loss. But I also say, we just won by 20, but that's not our standard. I don't use necessarily gold standard, but that's just not our standard. And you guys know it. And I'll see this. I'll see eye contact. I'll see nodding. Yep. It's like, that's not our standard. Those 17 offensive rebounds that they got, that's not our standard, and you know why. And how can we get better at that? And I've called out guys at halftime and said, to a specific kid, this is not your standard. You are not playing to your standard at this point. Do you want me to hold you accountable to that or not? Just tell me. And then they'll go, yes, coach. Then here's what you need to do. So I always ask them, it's like, you came up with, do you want me to hold you to this standard? Because if you don't, that's cool. But you have to tell me you don't want me to hold you. I mean, I'm not belittling them, but it's like, do you want me to hold you to that standard? Do you want me to expect you to get an A in my class? I mean, I've said that. Hey, everybody, I hope you're enjoying that. Take 30 seconds, go over and subscribe and like. We really do appreciate that. That helps us out. Also, make sure that you look down below. If you've got a question you want it answered, we can take care of that. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. 14-day free trial. We always want to all become better coaches. Can't imagine a better place or community to do that. So go over and check it out. All right, let's get back to the podcast. I mean, I've said that to students of mine. Do not want me, because I think you can do this work. Do not want me to hold you to that standard. So it's the same thing in the court.
I think it's that whole analogy, a fist is stronger than 5 fingers playing together analogy, is that I think the idea of captains is you start to separate that fist a little bit, and instead of saying, all right, we're all going to be leaders. And I think that's the whole Brad Stevens model now, is that he doesn't even have captains. They're all considered leaders on the Boston Celtics. And I like that concept.
Right.
I think we should get away from that. I think that isolation of, I think we should, Is there a better way to address a team before game time instead of pulling out 2 or 3 people that supposedly are your captains?
Right. Why do we do that as like a state association?
It's just a stupid rule. And then why do we allow kids, because they're the captains, they can talk to the referee? I don't really want my players to talking to the referee to begin with. They can barely handle chewing gum and playing the game at the same time. They don't even talk to the referee.
The only ones that can talk to the officials are the captains in volleyball. I can't talk to the official in the stand, but my captain can. That seems like the most ridiculous thing ever. And it's only one kid. You're telling me only one kid on my volleyball team can talk to the person, the R2, the one that's up in the thing. Really? That's it. So there's only one leader, one person that can talk to you. It seems ridiculous to me. And it's the same thing in basketball. Only my captains can talk to the officials.
I think it becomes the control issue. I think it's easier for the association to control that. All right, we only have to talk to 3 players, but really it would make more sense that all players should be part of that discussion. If you're going to talk before a game time with the officials, it would make more sense for every player to be a part of it. Whether you're going to pull one team over and then you're going to pull the other team over. They do that in soccer, and I think I do that as a referee in soccer. I pull the whole group of kids and I talk about these are my expectations. I think all the kids should hear that.
Right.
Not just 3 players that are so-called your captains.
Yep. I'm going to bring that up. That's going to be my new WBCA thing. That and the bringing the 16-team tournament thing back. I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to make them bring that to the coaches. It's true. I think that will take care of problems. I think that ultimately, I think we have a hard time getting people to value people in a program. So let's say we got Johnny and Jimmy, who are your 11th and 12th man, and they never get to do anything, and they're not a team captain. But, they got to be part of everything. I think that all those players should be a part of the pregame talk with the referee and understanding that I just think that creates isolation and bad vibes. Do it before the 15-minute warm-up then, if you're worried about it.
Right.
Spend 2 minutes with each of them. We're not talking 35 kids. We're talking 15. Probably at the most. Pull them over. Tell them what your expectations are, what you want from them. Let us, the state. So we're in Wisconsin. Let us, the Wisconsin State Association, set the bar for everybody else. Then,
right?
That's what we always want to do. Yeah.
But I think that would be the right way. And instead of then wasting our time introducing yourself to the coaches, go introduce yourself to the players, because those are the people that you're going to be handling with the most of the time. Are you properly equipped? Have them be responsible. We want to teach them responsibly. Are your players properly equipped? Well, I hope they are, because I'm having them do that. Put the responsibility on the kids. Give them ownership.
I love that. All right, that's going to be my new one. That and the getting rid of the jump ball are going to be my 2.
So ultimately, Coach, I think we come to the conclusion that it's not about captains. A good basketball program has always been about developing good leaders, and then good leaders, a good team is that everybody are becoming leaders because they're carrying out your vision and your program.
And I also think it's very important for everyone that's listening to this is don't expect someone to just be a leader. I've become a leader. I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm just getting the hang of it. It's like, don't expect, your best player to be your leader. Don't expect any of them from 1 to 15 to know how to be leaders. You have to help them through the process. You got to practice it.
If you want them to communicate on defense, you got to practice it every day. And you got to do other things that involve communication, all those things, If you want them to have good locker room etiquette, you got to teach them how you want that to be done, how you want your warm-up. You got to teach them everything.
You got to teach them every aspect of it, or it isn't going to happen. I agree. All right. Perfect, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Just a couple reminders. Make sure you subscribe and like. We really do appreciate that. Those 5 stars on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to us do really matter, especially with a new young podcast like High School Hoops, so we can keep it going. And what makes this train keep moving is teachhoops.com. If you're thinking of it, if you're a coach, if you're someone that's in a educational community, if we do purchase orders, we'll work with you. Let us know, and we would love to have you part of the community.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.